Most of them take their wives abroad to deliver, and if they deliver within it, in just about some of the best hospitals you can think about, while the rest may not even be able to afford the things what they are supposed to pay in public hospitals, and they go to some delivery women also. I've seen some persons well educated, they didn't have a choice. The wife was taken to some old woman who delivered the child, because of the financial implications of taking the child even to a government hospital. So that is a challenge we are having.
All right, you mentioned something about education, and I would like us to go down that lane. Out of school children in Nigeria, according to statistics, it goes higher and higher every year. We have about 20 million children who are out of school in Nigeria today. It's a figure that is very high, and it's a cause for concern, because education is more like the backbone to a bright future. Because once people are educated, it reduces the number of crimes in the community, or in the society rather. So how can the government do better in putting these out of school children into schools?
I think even that figure is understated. We should have more than that. Imagine in the whole of the north, how many kids do you think are going to schools? There are local governments in the north who don't even have a secondary school. So most of the children in the north, especially in the rural areas, don't have access to education, primary school education. That is the basic. And I can tell you that we should look at double that figure. Some long time ago, we were talking about the World Bank, or is it the UNESCO, gave the figure about 18 million in the north, and that should be more than 10 years back. So that figure should triple. That is in the north alone, 13 million children, and we are having an increase even here in Akwa Ibom. So that figure is understated. It should be double or even triple that figure. We are 200 million plus people now in a country where education is so poor. To say it is 20 million, I don't believe in it. Because, yeah, it is an understatement, because we create strange figures. The Nigerian Bureau of Statistics cannot be truly trusted in the figures they come up in any given thing. So I think that figure is double. And what we should do as a country is that, I remember I read something from one woman from one of the developed countries, said the difference between the third world and the developed world is simply in the quality of the education and healthcare. We don't invest enough in education, we don't invest enough in healthcare. This is called socio-economic justice, which the government across Africa, in Nigeria we are not offering it. What is the percentage that should go to education? I think the World Bank puts it at, is it 25%? The only state in Nigeria currently that is meeting up that is Abia State government. That in the past budget, I think it made 25% of the budget for education. That is the way it should go. Healthcare and education should take a huge chunk of whatever we offer in our budget, to education and healthcare. But certainly you don't see that. So what we need to do is to invest in health, in education seriously. Technical education, skills in our schools, turn our schools like the state governor is trying to do. Even though I applaud what he's doing, like making some model schools, but what we need is a pervasive investment in education, where not just pockets of schools, but we should have investment in education across all the primary schools and secondary schools in this state. These are the basics to improve the quality of life, because you're sending out skilled persons out of your schools, and which you may not need to do so much again. If they have these skills, they can apply it in the open society, in the marketplace, and they would be they will be valuable to the marketplace. They will not just be persons who are just look at what is going on today. You see young persons who come out of the university and they go back to train. I've seen a young lady preparing for youth service. We're in the same church, and she just graduated, waiting for youth service, and she was learning how to make hair. Those are the things she should have learned in secondary school, even in primary schools. If you look at what primary schools and secondary schools are doing abroad, I saw a school in China where they train kids in military training. They pass them through some form of military training to, you know, to ascertain what they want to be and what they love. You know, they pass them through a lot of skill trainings, different types of skills. These are what we should have in our schools. And if you don't invest in education, this cannot happen. I think I've said in this studio before, there was a time in this state when the oil company, the Mobil Oil in the Kwai state here, were employing persons from our technical schools. You know, but these days you don't see such a thing happen. And I want to point out to what happened in Lagos during the days of Lateef Jakonde. He built in 4 years 96,000 classroom blocks. We are not talking about books. We are not talking about desks that were uniforms that were given to 96,000 blocks. And incidentally, we had people, somebody who came up and said he's the one who built Lagos. But when Lateef Jakonde was governor between 1979 and 83, just 4 years, the man built 96,000 classroom blocks, a record since then that has not been achieved by any government across board in this country. We have not seen it. So we need to invest more in education, which is what we are not doing. You know, the more people are becoming poor, parents are not having the necessary resources to take care of their kids. Public systems should step in to create enabling environment for these kids to be able to actualize themselves. Equalize opportunities. I keep on saying that every time.
Yes, enabling environments, you're saying. And would you think, do you think the government has done enough in the provision of basic learning tools based on the digital learning or digital education that is supposed to be obtainable now?
If you talk about digital education, the digital divide in Africa as a whole is too wide. You understand? So there's no learning tool. In a country where you don't even have electricity, you know, how are you even going to invest properly in ICT, to be exact? How are you doing that? Have you been to primary schools across this state recently? I listened to somebody talk about on a sister radio station how they went to he went to a primary school and the grasses were taller than the buildings. It's also, that is what you have. There is total neglect. I remember last year or year before last, a journalist went into the 4 towns along a back road, a very famous secondary school, 4 towns commercial secondary school. Incidentally, I just want to tell you this: the immediate past Federal House member representing Uyo Federal constituency, they popularly known as Babantan, that is where he went to secondary school from class 1, I think, to class 5 in those days. And that place, he never did a thing for that place throughout his, how many, I think 8 years in office. Nothing was done in a school, his alma mater. You know, it was neglected. Now, students were sitting outside on under the sun, secondary school students, to write exams. And somebody went there and snapped that picture, and it was all over the social media. So that is the quality of neglect. And incidentally, this is the same man that took the governor, the present governor, then he was a candidate to court and got a black market judgment from, I think it was in Yobe State, to make himself the governorship candidate, you know. You understand? That money is spent in all those stuff. It would have been used to transform his alma mater into something reasonably qualitative. Are you getting me? So that is the challenge we have. Go around and see it. So there is no way you can have even anything digital. You talk, you know, because we don't have a system here. We don't have that passion to make sure that others, politicians are always ready to invest in themselves and their children, not in the people. That is what we are seeing. And I want to remind all of them what the Prime Minister of Burkina Faso said. He said, I'd rather be a poor man in a strong state than to be a rich man in a poor state. Now, our politicians are rich men in a poor state. And that is why most of them become irrelevant immediately after they leave power. That is the situation we notice every time.
On the family level, because we cannot expect, of course, the government cannot do everything for the children. On the family level, which is the first line of action for the children, what are certain values that are to be instilled in children so when they grow up, we can have a better society?
What I think the first thing we should never do is to megaphone a very wrong concept, the idea that government cannot do everything. Has government done anything for the public school system? Ask yourself. Go across schools in this state.
Okay, Otoeko, I'm not saying that the government has done anything or hasn't done anything. I'm just saying that the family.
Yeah,
what
coming there.
I'm coming
there. But let me just clear. I just want to clear this a statement. It's a very erroneous statement. It's just like when people say, "Oh, the state government that security is everybody's business." It's a lie. You understand me? There's nothing I can do in security. Recently, thieves went into the transformer in my area and they stole things. And we had security before. We are going to spend more money. What is happening is the security agencies even doing anything about it. So we are the one providing everything for ourselves. And parents, as far as education is concerned, are superstars in this state. Without the contribution of parents, you understand me? Education, children will be criminals all over the street. You know, parents have done, when they don't even have money. You see keke riders, you see artisans, poor people who don't have enough money, doing everything, sacrificing everything to make sure that their children go to school. Parents are doing too much. The people who are not doing anything at all are the people in government who have the enormous resources, and those resources do not trickle down. Look at Akwa Ibom State today. How much money is given to secondary schools for each student? In a term, I think whether it is 200 naira or whether 150 or 250 or something. By right, we should be giving principals, should be giving schools a minimum of 20,000 naira per student per term, so that the principal can provide resources for those children to learn. Principals are using their own resources to sustain secondary schools as we speak in Akwa Ibom State. You know, so when we say parents, let me tell you, parents have done too much. We cannot request more from parents. What we need to, in every sane society, 80% of the resources, 80% of what you need to succeed in life must be provided by government. We should hold government accountable. We should not say government cannot do everything or put responsibilities on what the government should do on parents. That is why even companies are not coming in, because we expect companies from outside this country to behave like Nigerians, you know, who provide everything for them. Are you getting me? Today, just this year, we have lost 6 billion from Total to Angola in investment in oil. Why? Because there are certain things. The man said it when that was the same venue when Dangote told the world in Rwanda that that there will be enough fuel by this coming June. The man spoke. He was sitting with Dangote, and he said he was to invest $6 billion in our oil sector, but the laws are not there, the securities are not there, things are not there. That they are expected to provide everything, and Angola provided for them a better operating environment, so they had to go to Angola. So when we keep on excusing government, having escapist government who run our war, you know, they are absent without official leave. They are sitting in government offices and they do nothing for the people, and then they turn around and point fingers. You are blaming the victim. We are victims of bad governance, and at the same time, we are being blamed. Parents are being blamed. You're not doing enough. You know, we are enlarging, megaphoning this narrative everywhere. Security is everybody's business, but you, the man in government, you're not doing anything. You know, this one, education. Are we not providing education for ourselves, for our children? Are you not providing? You're providing electricity, you're providing security, you're providing water for yourself. What exactly is government doing with the resources that has been given to them?
You didn't quite answer the question. I was talking about values like patience and all of that, but we don't have so much. We don't have so much time about that. So
I can see you are really annoyed with the government's stance. And away from government and the parents, you know, on education and the child and the children, let's look at the church. Has the church really subsidized or done enough to, you know, create those moral values in children to make them real leaders of tomorrow?
Yeah, I think churches are doing exceedingly well. I've seen in my church, children's church, I listen to some of the values they impart in children. If there is a teaching room where children are well imparted, you go to church and you see them. Those mothers are doing exceedingly well. They're mostly mothers who teach those children, giving them example, using their own practical experiences, what they pass through as kids at that certain age. They know what to teach them. I've seen them go for review. They sit down, review. These are the kind of things we need to teach children at this stage, at the different stage, at the teenage stage. You know, they are doing wonderfully well. The churches and parents are doing well. Look, let me tell you, we're discussing certain things with a lady, a deaconess in my church, and we're talking about how parents are doing exceedingly well. You know, you see keke riders who will, why some of these kids are growing up, the things we used to see in a few years back. You can see a young child, a young girl in the university now who has not abused herself. Do you understand me? Simply because even if the father is a keke rider, you see the father, the things that would attract you, that men will use to entice these young girls, the parents are providing. We talk about they go to is it this park they call this park, this Christmas park? You know, parents take their children, even if they are keke riders, they will come with their wife and their children. They ride there and they let the children have a good time. And even you are talking about fast food, they take kids there. You go there on a day like this, you see parents who will do that. You see the point? So they create an environment, and the church equally creates that kind of environment, you know, where these kids are properly being brought up. There are a lot of well brought up young children now, and I can tell you the challenges we have now is that, imagine if I am a keke rider, and in just a year, 2 years back, I used to take my kids to this in Christmas park. I used to take my kids to fast food just to give them things, buy things that other children, what they see on TV, you understand, things that men could have used to entice them, you know, to get them into bed. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Now, those things are provided by me. Now, with the increase in fuel, increase in prices of things, will these parents be able to provide those things for their children anymore? You know, it is increasingly becoming difficult for them to be able to achieve those things because of the economic challenges we are facing now in society. You know, so both the church and the parents are doing exceedingly well. I tell you, these are stars. They are doing in a difficult situation. You see what parents are doing for their children, you have to dove your heart for them. They are doing the proper thing.
All right, thank you very much, Otueko. Let's move on to a bigger issue. You know? The federal government has instituted a legal action against the governors of the 36 states of the Federation at the Supreme Court over alleged misconduct in the administration of local government areas, LGAs. In the suit, the federal government, filed by the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Prince Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, is seeking full autonomy for all local government areas in the country as a third tier of government. It specifically prayed the Apex Court to issue an order prohibiting state governors from embarking on unilateral, arbitrary, or unlawful dissolution of democratically elected local government leaders, as well as for an order permitting the funds standing in the credits of local governments to be directly channeled to them from the Federation account in line with the provisions of the Constitution as against the alleged unlawful joint accounts created by governors. Besides, federal government prayed the Supreme Court for an order stopping governors from further constituting caretaker committees against the constitutionally recognized and guaranteed democratic system. It equally applied for an order of injunction restraining the governors, their agents and privies from receiving, spending or tampering with funds released from the Federation account for the benefit of local governments when a democratically elected local government system is put in place in the states. All right, Otueko, the first question I would like to throw at you is, what's your take on this, and what are the benefits of having local government autonomy?
On that, even though we have issues, things we complain about, the way the 1999 Constitution was framed, and that we need to review it, but on the local government, its autonomy and everything, I think they did the right thing. The local government is a third tier of government. In any federation, you have it everywhere. We are copying the American system. The Americans call it county. There are counties in America that are richer than Nigeria. I now remember there is a county in Florida they call Dade County. It's a multi-billion rich county in America. I didn't mean it's richer than Nigeria. It's a county. It's a local government. Now you come to Nigeria today. and you notice that local governments are in the pocket of the governors. They don't allow it to fly, politically and economically, and that is one primary reason why you see you don't see any achievement. Now I tell you, there's no local government in Nigeria that receives anything below 150 million a month, and when you calculate that into a year, you're looking at about 15 billion in 1 year. You understand me? So, but unfortunately, what we are seeing, does the money coming in reflect any level of development? Go to primary schools today and see basic things that could have been provided by the local government are not able to. So when the money comes in the so-called crazy arrangement called a joint account, what are you joining? And in this account, you don't send this money directly to the local government. You hold on to this money. You use caretaker committees to run the local government. You can remove the chairman at will, and you do virtually everything. Hold election, whether you want to hold election. That states, in fact, according to what we have heard, about 16 states still run this thing through a caretaker committee, which is certainly very wrong. I know. So remember what happened during the days of President Muhammadu Buhari. The matter, he gave I think, what do they call it, executive order. He made an executive order ordering these monies to be sent to the local government, and giving the NFIU, that's the National Finance Intelligence Unit, to do the job of monitoring the compliance, and even said the local government should not spend anything above 500,000 naira per day. But you know, it never happened. What did the state government do? They went to court. In fact, this court case was instituted by the Enquiry State local government system, and the local government chairman, who took the matter to court, and then to say that, look, we don't want to be free. We want to continually be enslaved. You know, so and you look at, there are local governments in Enquiry State that money allocated should be up to 200 million in a month. Where is that money? And you're looking at close to, or about 20 billion or 20 plus billion at the end of the year. Have you seen that reflected on the streets of that local government? Certainly you don't see it. And most of this local government even generate some other monies within. Like I can tell you, you go to Itan market, every market day they generate nothing less than 3 million. And look at that market, is the money used there? And people will say, okay, we blame the local government chairman, they are not using the monies they get. But it's simply because they too are not getting what they are supposed to get from the joint account. Their monies is not coming to them. So if Oga is not giving me my money, why should I give the money back to the people? You know, and let us go back to what happened when Obamata was the governor of this state. I can tell you that monies were given to local government, the allocation properly. I think then you used to have some 70 million, 80, some 100 plus million. Monies were given. Let us look at some persons who were there. At least one person I can say we know very well was the current commissioner for youth and sport, Samon Debo. He was the local government chairman of Oborokara. And he did exceedingly well. In fact, he won a lot of awards for being the best local government chairman. And that is how he was known. That is how all of us, there's no other local government chairman I really know. Then we used to have challenges with the local government system where some chairmen will collect that money, put it in their vehicle, and then take it out and go and lodge in a hotel. We had that. And the state were giving the reason that, look, the reason we did this is simply because local government chairmen were taking this money. But are you the law enforcement agency? Are you the EFCC? Do you understand? If the local government chairman has taken monies meant for this thing, take him, let the law enforcement agencies investigate the matter, and then the matter will end up in court. If one or two local government chairmen are jailed, you know what I'm saying? The next person will take precaution. He will not take those actions again. But unfortunately, they just saw an opportunity to hold on to the money, and they did whatever they are doing today, where the third tier of government has been completely neglected. Nothing is happening there across the country. You know, so it is the right thing. But incidentally, I want to point out that the same Attorney General and the Minister for Justice was the same lawyer who was used as Fagbemi, was the same lawyer the local government or the state government were using to stop the implementation of the law, the NFIU, the what do you call the executive order that Mr. President then Buhari did. But well, thank God, maybe he has repented, or because of the office he is, he has now taken the matter. He knows the nitty-gritty of that challenge, so he has taken the matter to the Supreme Court. Let us see. I think it's on the 29th, I think 30th we are going to hear the next two. But I do believe that somehow, somewhere, local government will smile again.
Yes, they should smile. I tell you, local government reforms have, I think the government has not been very fair to the administration and local government councils, because some of them may not or may have the intention or the powers to perform, but some provisions of the constitution may not be very favorable to them. While the 1976 local government reforms recognized local government as a third tier of government after the federal and state government, some provisions in the reform guidelines and constitution are self-contradictory and ambiguous too. Paragraph 2 of that reform distinguished local government councils and state and federal government by considering local government as a body created by and deriving its powers from the state government. But paragraph 7 of the same guideline says a set of local government with their own identity and powers and sources of revenue established under the state legislation and functions for which they are responsible to the state. Now, some provisions of the constitution says they are under the state government, but some other provisions say they are statutory, they are on their own to perform their functions. Don't you think it's contradictory and ambiguous in the constitution that does not allow the system to function effectively?
You see, this is why I love the matter that this case has been taken to the Supreme Court. And the beauty of it is that the Supreme Court is a court of policy. The only body that can make law or that can pass judgment over any situation, and that law may even contradict a previous provision of the Constitution, is the Supreme Court, because it's a court of policy.
And the final court.
Yes, the final court. So right now, those contradictions, the framers of these laws never looked into it. They are human beings. Maybe they didn't have time, or maybe it skipped their attention, or whatever happened. But I think their intentions were actually right. But going by the fact that this matter has gone to the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court will place all these laws side by side, because you cannot have contradictory laws operating under the same environment. It will create crisis like it is creating now. So the proper thing is now being done. Let us go to this court and finally settle this matter in the Supreme Court. And we hope, thank God, that for the accelerated hearing on this matter. Naturally, most cases that ends up in the Supreme Court can take months or even years. You know, there are cases that have been in the Supreme Court since 1980, and they are still being deliberated. The people who went to court over this matter, they have all died. You know, so but we pray over this, that this one there will be an expedition of the hearing, not just the first hearing, but maybe in the next few months we should settle this matter and know exactly where everyone stands. If we are running a democracy, we must run the proper democracy. And I want to let Nigerians know that Nigeria, what Nigeria is passing through today is called nation building. It's a process of nation building. These are the challenges you keep on seeing. You make a law out of sincerity, and then over time, either events overtake these laws. You even have in America where certain like the cyber laws, like even the music laws, you understand me? Who has a right for this content? Who have this thing? The technology has come and overtaken the law previously made. But the people sit down and they work on this thing and bring out new laws to satisfy everybody. So this is the process, and I pray that our Supreme Court will do what is right and make sure that the third tier of government get exactly what they're supposed to get. And I can tell you this, if this is done, you're going to see a lot more quicker and faster development within the local government system.
But some people are arguing that this local government autonomy thing, while the federal government is fighting for that, they should also pass into law that the leaders, the local government chairman, should reside, just as the governor of Akwa Ibom State mentioned that all the local government chairmen must reside in their jurisdiction. I'm going to use jurisdiction for lack of a better word. So this issue of autonomy should go hand in hand with this law. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that is not even the duty of these are elected officials, and you cannot. I don't know. I think there's a provision of the law that says they should reside within the state and not necessarily within their local government. Even though rightfully we should have a situation where most of them are residing within their local government. Most or all of them really should reside within their local government. Especially that you have some large states, like a state like Borno, that could be the size of the southeast or bigger. You understand? If you're not residing within your local government, how can you really be effective in delivering the dividends of democracy to the people? You could be living in Maiduguri, and from Maiduguri to your local government is almost the distance between here and what is Benin, the headquarters. Yeah, it is like that. Some states in the north are bigger than the whole of the southeast.
Yeah.
Like Borno is quite big. So if you have that kind of situation, there is little or nothing that you can do except you reside where your people are. You cannot govern your people from a distance. You're behaving like a monarch. As much as I don't believe that such a provision should be made mandatory for every one of them, but I think it should be. Not every law in any country is absolutely written down. That's a mistake we need to understand. Not every law. You see, there are certain things that are merely cultural, like you see in UK. Certain things, if you have the spirit of any particular, what do you call it, the nation, that engulfs, that how would I say, that it regulates the way the law is going. Not naturally by force or something. You would see a lot of changes. You see a lot of things being done right by men in offices. That is a challenge we are having today. You understand?
All right. If you're listening to us right now, it is Melting Point on Memories 96.5 FM, and we're looking at local government autonomy, the benefits, and of course the demerits as well, and how has that affected the economic life of the people. And we got Otuekong here. Otuekong, now let's look at the local government and its natural resources. They have so much to offer the state, but based on these erosion of on usurping of local government functions by the state, it has actually affected these local government areas from performing optimally. How can these issues be addressed?
What? You see, the issue of resources, Nigeria is the only federation. They said there are a lot of issues for us to settle. In Nigeria, there are so many issues. Issues of federation. If we say we are truly a federation works best, in a multi-ethnic, multi-religious society, like Nigeria, where we have more than 200 different ethnic groups and more languages than that, So we need to. And why is it so? The federation is put, that structure is put in place so that component units will feel that secure. You're in charge of your resources. You only send a percentage to the federation account, like it is done in America. Not the federation are controlling everything within your territory, So it is done like that. You have unique laws that are unique to your environment because your culture is different, So it will make you secure in that country, that your needs, your values are being respected. Nobody is going to come in there and take over what you own. But in Nigeria, the reverse is the case. They say there are about 190 federations across the world, and it is only in Nigeria where the federal government controls everything. The resources under your land, they say it's owned by the federal government. The territorial waters, it is owned by the federal government. Even the water, the inland waterways, it is owned and controlled by the federal government. What exactly? You cannot make a port. One of the challenges we have with our Ibom Deep Sea Port. It's because you have to get permission from the federal government to do it. You have to get permission for airport. You have to get permission for everything. That is having too much power invested in one man. And power corrupt. And absolute power corrupt absolutely. That's why even state governors can't operate well, because you have to always go begging cap in hand to get things from the federal government. So coming back to the state local government now, you know, as long as the states don't have control of resources, you cannot expect the local government to have that kind of absolute control. It's not there. You see the point? So we have to work more. What I'm trying to say is that we have to work more on our laws, you know, to give more powers to where it is supposed to go. If these laws, these things are supposed to go to the local government, let it go there. Supposed to be with the state, let it go there. Supposed to be with the federal government, let it go there. You know, today in Nigeria, even the resources from, look at the Niger Delta, one of the reasons we don't have development is that whoever controls the oil is from the federal government. The MD, when Buhari was president, the first 20 executives of NNPC were from his own ethnic group, which is the Fulani ethnic group. It's only this man that came to scatter the whole thing and brought in other people. But is it right that the federal government should control? I mean, I remember when I read what Dr. Mike Murdoch said about the lady they were going to the same church with, and the lady, the husband died, and the woman was into laundry business. But years after they went back, you know, it was actually religious something. He was talking about tithe payment. But I'm just trying to look at the other area, how the woman became rich and the family. You know, they became rich because where they were staying, where their houses were, the land they had, oil was actually found, and they came into oil business. You understand me? In Nigeria today, would that happen? They would just come and throw out the dissing, and somebody from the north will be owning oil blocks there.
What's
are you getting the point I'm trying to say? So the local government don't even have access to any except the only resources you can have. There's a market, or there are POS operators. You go around taxing them.
How can the local government be held accountable in an autonomous system?
How can the local government be held accountable in an autonomous system? You have laws. They are not absolutely autonomous. There are laws that cages them. You know, for example, now you hear like it happened in Akwa Ibom, where we heard stories. It's not just an Akwa Ibom, across the country. Oh, local government chairmen were taking money, put in their boots, and they go to hotel and stay. Nobody can get across to them. This money is given to them to use. If they have not used it for what you see, the EFCC is there. The police are there. The what is the other one? ICPC is there. Why are you not using them to get this man to do what is proper? If he's stealing the money, he has to return the money stole, unless he shows us what that thing has been used for. It's not the place of the government, you know, to now gauge these people. Law enforcement agencies are put in place to make sure that laws are kept. That is the simple thing. We should not just be exploiting gaps in situations, and the next thing you see, the other man now who exploited the gap is now using the money. Can you combine the total amount of money that came to local government under the Kunudom Emmanuel? It runs into billions. Can you look at the local government and say this is what that money was used for? You can see it. And it's not just in Akwa Ibom, across the whole country. Imagine the trillions of naira that came to local government from the day President Muhammadu Buhari came into office. There were the 774 local government. Where is that money? Can you look at the local government system and say, this is what I used it for? I am seeing it.
All right, let's join Otuekong in asking for the scorecard of the local administrators by calling on 0803-085-7755. Otherwise, you can dial 0809-066-6909, and let's have your views on local government autonomy. Well, that's on
WhatsApp line. WhatsApp line is 0809 066 6909. We're also streaming live on Facebook.
For your information.
Yes, the handle is Memories965FM. If you drop a comment under the live feed concerning this topic, this discussion, we'll read it out. If it's a question, Otuekong will respond.
All right, let's have your views on local government autonomy, and of course, the matter is going to the Supreme Court. You were just waiting for us, and here you are. Good morning.
Oh, we lost that call.
We lost that. Perhaps it's not from our Quibom, and we're looking at the local government autonomy, how it affects us. And okay, let's go to the local government administrators. Some of them, I know, are very productive. Some of them are very, very good at, at their jobs. But, okay. Hello, good morning. Yeah, they seem to be influenced. Some of them are good at their jobs, but they seem to be influenced by the state governments vis-a-vis the control of their revenue, internally generated revenues that should be used in the development of their local councils. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Yeah.
You're welcome. This is Memories 965 FM. Yes.
What's your name?
Tristan, calling from you.
Alright, welcome to the program. What's your take?
Yeah, first of all, let me just correct myself to account. It's not kind of
Okay, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. You'd have to call us back. The network is not, doing justice this morning. Well, you'd have to call us back 0803 085 7755 or 0809 066 6909. Remember that we also have a WhatsApp platform in case you don't want to call. The number is 0809 066 6909. And we're streaming live on Facebook. The handle is Memories 965 FM.
Yes, we're talking about the natural resources from these local government areas. Don't you think the chairmen or administrators of local government councils should maximize the fortunes of the natural resources to the benefit of the people?
Well, the local government, what resources do they have to even exploit those natural resources?
Internally generated revenue as well.
Yeah, internally generated revenue. You see, the point is this: you have some local government where you have some large markets. Let me see, those are the internal resources they have and they can control. You have some who may have some sites. Like if you go to Akampa, you can see those people who are taking these chippings or something like that. It is a huge source of revenue. But you see, some of the challenges you're having in most of those places is that where you have those huge resources available that can be easily tapped in, it is not just the local government who are in control. The state government are equally there. In fact, we have some mafia organizations who may be involved. So you see, like I keep on saying, corruption metastasizes. Wherever you have huge resources available, even in the market within any state you can think about, even in Aquarium today, you go to the big markets, you see that are actually being controlled by the local government. You see that because of corruption, those resources may not be properly handled. So many people come in, so many people are concerned, so many people are involved because huge monies come into those places on a daily basis or monthly basis or weekly basis, as we see. So we need to do what is correct, especially where elections are concerned, where we can get the right persons into the offices, and that is where you can see the proper tappings into this stuff. But as long as we have elections as you see it in all the states of the federation, whichever government is in power at the state level actually determines who wins these elections, and that is what we keep on seeing anytime. If it is APC in this state, when election comes and you see that all the people who win all the local government are from that same party. If it is PDP, that's what happened. If it is Labour Party, that is likely what you are going to see. So those elections, that is why some of the provisions, some people have mentioned that, look, we should allow INEC to be the ones who conduct these elections, and which is where you can get some reasonably level of the right persons. You understand me? Being put in office, whereby there will be true contest in that local government area. When you have the right persons, they can be able to manage the resources and be able to use it. They can be imaginative. For example, now, if you have a kind of the right chairman in some local government where you have large markets, like I made mention of it, local government, who can plow back the resources meant from the ticket they sell, which is above 3 million in any given market day. So if you look at 4 markets day, 3 million times, is it 4? That is a huge amount of money. You see the point? That's a huge amount of money. You're looking at in the region of 12 million in a month. And if you say, I'm even using half of that to invest in that market, don't you think you're going to see a beautiful market? If you enter the inside of a market, it is muddy, it is a slum. You see the point? So, but if you have a local government chairman, and then most of them will tell you, if I repair this thing now, the next man who is coming is going to be the one to enjoy. The more you can build infrastructures, the more the value of that estate. And if you have a valuable estate, more business will grow, and you are going to make more money. But that is not what we are seeing. Everybody is just looking at effort me and you are making, and they are taxing that effort. Therefore, that is behaving like a leech. You're not involved in it, how I develop, but all you're involved is you're sucking my blood. However way I can, generate blood in my system is not your business. But what you will just come in to do, to suck it. And that is a challenge we have. So we need to have the right men in the right places, and then you're going to see a very good system.
Okay, Otakom, just to wrap things up, if the Supreme Court rules in favor of the federal government, what are some potential challenges that await the transition to giving local government its autonomy?
Well, I don't really see the challenges, because if the monies are taken, okay, the challenges could well be where, how do we determine who sits on that office? Number one, the more money that will go to local government, you're going to see a stiffer contest between political players to go and sit on that seat, both from the councillorship level and at the chairmanship level. You're going to see all that. But all that is part of the political development, which must be properly managed, for us to get the right things done. You see the point? But we should not, simply because you have people who may think or act this way, we say we should not put the right laws in place. Just like what you have with, what do you call this stuff? The state police and all that thing people are saying. They say, okay, it's wrong that state governments are going to do one thing or the other. But in any federation, state police is a normal thing. In fact, policing must be local. Even where you look at, go to countries like Britain who run a central system, police is still local. Do you understand me? So the laws, you put the laws in place, and you make sure gradually you put things right to correct those laws. America had a jury system where they will make, when you go to court now, and then you the jury, there will be some people selected who will pass the judgment whether the person is guilty. They are still using it today. But in the initial days, it was a corrupt system. There are many black people who were hanged because all the people in the jury were white. You see the point? But they didn't jettison that system because they were wrong people still in operation. But gradually they corrected that system. Today, you can have good judgment from the jury. It is not done like it used to be before. If they notice any element of bias, they send out the people in the jury system. You see the point? So we need to keep these things proper. We cannot say that, okay, because this one or two things can be wrong with the local government system, we cannot implement it to the latter. We need to do that. If anybody does anything wrong, we correct it. So the challenges that may come, certainly you're going to see challenges. Like I said before, Nigeria is a developing country. This is nation building process. In a process, just like the pangs of birth a woman will give birth to. When the birth pangs come, the woman will, that doesn't mean that the next time she will not want to give birth. In fact, she's the one who will tell you, I'm ready for. You see the point? So that is it. So we are progressing. We need to put these things in order. Any challenges we meet, we come up with irrelevant laws to make sure that we correct it. That is what we should be doing.
All right, and that is what we should be doing. On that note, still in politics, Tuekong. Between INEC and AKISEC, who do you think is most suitable to conduct local government elections?
I think it should be INEC, if we have that kind of national body, because AKISEC across the country has not really not AKISEC, the CX across the country, let me not use that quite well. Say CX, the State Independent Electoral Commission across the country, has not done well. You see, so we need to have a reasonably independent body that can run the system. That is the right thing for us to do. You know, because you see, due to the problems of interest, we are not getting what we are supposed to get, and the people are the ones suffering, because politicians will always think about politics and not the people. So we need to take that responsibility away from them.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Otuakon. Thank you so much for your time here.
Thank you for thanking me.
All right, that's all the time that we have for today's edition of the Melting Point this morning. We've had a robust and insightful discussion on local government autonomy, but of course we started with Children's Day because today is Children's Day, and I hope it has provided you with a deeper understanding of the issues that we